Today on Making IT Easy, we're going to check your remaining mobile data. Samsung drops a whopper of a new phone, watching movies online, and Netflix.
Sounds like a great show, Tony. Looking forward to it.
Hi, Kay. Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome to Making IT Easy with Tony and Kay on 107.3 HFM and the voice of your community, following the delightful James Ray, who had a great segment with Commonwealth Bank earlier on today, talking about how people can avoid scams. I was very impressed with a little segment there. Apparently, James is a regular on James's show.
Okay.
And he was talking about the same sort of thing we rattle on about, which is you can feel free to hang up, because almost always scammers will have some sort of time pressure on you. Mm-hmm. So hang up and ring back on the number that you find through their normal website. But he was also saying that CommBank has now got a facility where CommBank people call you, it will pop up in your CommBank app, so you can be sure that the person you're receiving the call from is a legitimate call.
Right.
Very nice. Right. I like it a lot.
Yeah. It makes sense that they should use those online services, provided everybody's got the apps. And
that's the trick. Yes.
I noticed, was it Centrelink or Services Australia? They send you a text message just before they call you, because they're calling from a private number.
Yeah.
So they send a text message saying, you're about to receive a call from one of our operators on a private number. Please answer it.
Okay, then we have to make sure that the text message is actually coming from really Services Australia.
How can you?
Yeah, maybe they need to set it up in the app.
The text is probably coming from a private number as well.
That's right.
Anyway, we digress as usual.
We do, although we are on topic this time, which is a nice change. Talking music today, if you know me as well as you think you know me, you'll know that this does not come as a surprise. I wish to do nonsense songs today. And that might sound like, people have just whacked together something and haven't put any thought into it, but I beg to differ.
All right.
I think that if you're going to create a song that is so successful, like our songs are today, that are nonsense songs, you haven't been able to rely on lyrics. All you can rely on is the hook and the music. So I think they do an excellent job.
So Joe Dolce doesn't classify as a nonsense song then, because he's got a lyric and he's telling the story?
Okay. A nonsense song is a type of song written mainly for the purpose of entertainment, using nonsense syllables at least in the chorus or at least somewhere. Such a song generally has a simple melody and a quick or fairly quick tempo and repeating sections. There you go, from our friends at Wikipedia.
There's a whole definition and everything.
There is. Okay. So the first one I'm going to do is, as usual, an Elvis number to start with, is Tutti Frutti, which doesn't particularly mean anything, and he says it a lot all the way through. It was actually written by Little Richard and Dorothy Labostri, recorded in 1955, which was his first major hit. This is Little Richie. Interestingly, and maybe get into this, maybe not, it turned out Little Richie was in the middle of a recording session and he was getting a little bit fed up with it. So he just grabbed the piano and started whacking out a song that he used to play in bars all the time. And the producer recognised that it could be a hit, so it actually became one later on. But the original lyrics actually referred to men who have relationships with men. And it originally said, Tutti Frutti, good booty, if you don't fit it, don't force it, and there's some more to there, to which they had to change it, and it's now been replaced with Tutti Frutti or Rudy, which actually means a slang expression for all right. So there you go. Back in the 1955, they were having ballsy songs that they had to change the lyrics for to make it, and let's see if I can find my notes here, lyrically appropriate.
Okay.
So there you go. Now you know the history. I'll see if you like the song more or less. Tutti Frutti, Elvis Presley.
Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. 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 Bam boom, I got a gal named Sue. She knows just what to do. I got a gal named Sue. She knows just what to do. She roll me to the east, she roll me to the west. She's the gal that I love best. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. 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 Bam boom, I got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. I got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. She knows how to love me, yes indeed. Boy, you don't know what she do to me. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. bop, bam, boom. I got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. I got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. She knows how to love me, yes indeed. Boy, you don't know what she do to me. Tutti frutti, oh Rudy. 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 Oh, mama, little mama, lop, bam, boom.
Yeah.
Making IT easy, HFM 107.3, and I've got an extra phone number for you today. So if you are handy to a pen,
Can we have the normal one? Because people might partly remember that one.
yeah, we can extend the partly that they've already written. So if you want to give us a call, try and do it during a song, feel free to call us on 9398 3100. I'll give you that number again in a minute. But we have a new text number. So if you'd like to text us your questions or comments, particularly those ones that say that we're doing a fabulous job, you know, those ones where you think we're not doing such a great job, you can keep to yourself. You can text this number 0485 838 436. I'm going to have to give that to you again. So here we go. 0485 838 436. And if you missed the landline number, it is 9398 3100. So there you go. You can call or text today. Oh, the technology, it's just fantastic, isn't it?
Right. Last time on Making IT Easy,
right,
on our tips and tricks and something new, we talked about using personal hotspot.
We did. One of my favourite topics.
What is a personal hotspot? It's a method of using your mobile phone to create your own Wi-Fi access point.
Oh, that's a good definition.
Is that gobbledygook? But it's just a case of, I want to be able to share my internet connection from my phone with other devices in the room, relatively, in the next couple of rooms in the same house with my devices or people that have come over that want to access my internet, right? So you can turn this service called a personal hotspot on your mobile device on, and then you can share it via a password to anyone that needs to connect.
Is it always from a mobile device, or can it also be from a PC?
Technically, it's called a personal hotspot because it's your SIM that's activated.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So,
all right. So it's using your mobile phone's access to the internet to give internet access to another smart device that doesn't have its own access.
Correct.
Good. Got it. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, in order to do that, in the iPhone and in the Android realm, you go to my favourite place in the world, settings.
Swipe down. Yep.
If you have an Apple device, you go to settings, mobile data, and then there's a thing called personal hotspot or settings, because it's sometimes depending on, you've got an older version of the Apple or the new version of Apple. Personal hotspot or settings, and then underneath that there's a personal hotspot option which you tap on, and then there's a slider that says allow other people to join. Okay. Once you've done that, further down the page there's a password. They give you a kind of a cryptic default password, ZJF7$3, which you can change to something a bit more useful if you like.
Excellent.
And it can be relatively easy, because think about it, when you finish with your personal hotspot you turn it off.
Yeah, okay.
So
this is not the same quality as your bank password.
That's right. You could make it, Fred or something silly like that, just in the little while that you've got it connected. And then, of course, you can change it every time you turn it back on again. One of the things about personal hotspots is once you turn it on, any devices that have previously been connected that are in the area will be invited to connect back again automatically. So if you want to stop that from happening, changing the password is a good way to do that. Yeah. So that was in the Apple space. If in the Android space, again, go into settings, but they've got a thing called network and internet. Right, so Apple has personal hotspot and settings, whereas Android has network and internet. And then underneath that, look for hotspot. And another term for it is tethering. So hotspot or tethering.
Yeah.
And then inside there's turn on your Wi-Fi hotspot.
Yep.
All right, so that's last time we touched on that, and you'll find it useful. One of the main reasons why you would use it, I guess, is if you have a tablet and a phone, a mobile phone and a tablet. A lot of people ask me, should I go out and buy the tablet that has the SIM card that I can connect to the cellular network? If you've already got a mobile phone, then you've paying an extra couple of $100 for a facility on your tablet that you don't necessarily need, because you have your phone with you pretty much wherever you go. That's the whole idea of these things. So you just turn on your hotspot and you can share your data connection with your tablet. You're
saying tablet, but I use it all the time to connect to my laptop. My laptop doesn't have its own SIM card, so anywhere that I'm not in, that I don't have the Wi-Fi access to, like my own house or work or a friend's place, I need to connect to that.
Yep. But you don't have the option of getting a SIM card to put in your laptop. That's right. It has to connect to a Wi-Fi. So whether it's a Wi-Fi at home or a Wi-Fi via your personal hotspot, So
it's just polite. If I'm visiting somebody else, I don't necessarily want to ask them if I can access their Wi-Fi because I'm asking for their Wi-Fi password and that sort of thing. It's easy just to connect to my phone because, as you said, we've got some glorious amount of data on the
ridiculous amount of data.
Yeah.
It's funny that people have this kind of expectation that it's like a fait accompli. You walk into the house, what's your Wi-Fi password? It's an expectation, especially our daughter's generation. That's just it's the norm. It's almost like you should have the Wi-Fi password plastered on the door as you come in.
Well, I think we have ours written on the whiteboard, so
most people have got the little fridge magnet that comes with their router on the fridge.
It's written underneath their router. Yeah, good point.
Of course, you can change that, and it's probably a good idea to. Anyway, we're digressing again.
We are digressing again. Let's go to another song. One of my old-time favourites is Hi Lily, Hi Low by the Shanes. Hope you enjoy
On
it.
every tree there sits a bird singing a song of love. A song of love, yes, a sad song. Hi Lily, hi low. A song of love, it's a song of woe. Don't ask me how I know. A song of love, it's a sad song. 'Cause I have loved and it's true. I sit at my window and I watch the rain. Hi Lily, I know. Tomorrow I'll probably love again. Hi Lily, I know. A song of love is a sad song. Hi Lily, I know. A song of love is a song of woe. Don't ask me how I know. A song of love is a sad song. 'Cause I have loved and it's true. I sit at my window and I watch the rain. Hi Lily, I know. Tomorrow I'll probably love again. Hi Lily, I know. A song of love is a sad song. Hi Lily, I know. A song of love is a song of woe. Don't ask me how I know. A song of love is a sad song. 'Cause I have love and it's true. I sit at my window and I watch the rain. Hi Lily, I know. Tomorrow I'll probably love again. Hi Lily, I know. Yeah. Hi Lily, I know. Hi Lily, I know. One more time. Hi Lily, I know. We're making it easy. 107.3.
Next time your internet buffers, lags, or drops out, I want you to say it with me, Perth. We deserve better internet. Get your internet flying through the air quick as a flash. Pentanet is Perth's own private internet network, delivering super-fast fixed wireless internet in selected coverage areas. With $0 standard install for a 12-month home or business fixed wireless plan, join Pentanet and make the switch to fast, reliable, local internet. Search Pentanet now.
Station sponsor.
107.3 HFM, the voice of your community, is proudly supported by Reed's Remotes, Rockingham Beach Fish and Chips,
Perth Mobile Nursery.
Become a corporate member and support the voice of your community. Go to the webpage heritagefm.org for email details or to find out more.
In Linwood, Churchman and Banjup, we're the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
And you're with Kay and Tony on Making IT Easy, coming up 12:15 on this fabulous day in Gossywood. We're now calling it.
Is
because
it
of,
cool? It feels cooler today. I don't know if it's supposed to be ridiculous, like 39 or something, isn't it?
Well, there you go. I didn't have the weather up just at the moment. We'll do that in the next segment.
Right.
So we were talking before about lyrics, and you were just making the comment that lyrical purity was actually the phrase that I'd been given, that they changed Tutti Frutti because of lyrical purity. Great phrase back in 1950s, but apparently you can't find any record of it.
I can't find the phrase anywhere in my Google searching.
Yes, okay. Rihanna doesn't use it.
Wow. I don't imagine a lot of artists
Not
do
as much of a
these
thing now as it
No,
used
no.
to be, perhaps.
Anyway,
We are moving on to technology, and we covered hotspots, which is something that we did before.
just a quick recap.
What are we talking about today?
Checking your data usage. So obviously
good.
sharing your...
Very related.
Yeah, setting a data hotspot up and all that kind of stuff. You want to be monitoring your data usage just to make sure you don't go over the limits and all that. And remember we talked last week about data plans
We did.
and how much data you need. Well, all of these kinds of things you should be kind of keeping an eye on. And look, you can change your mind, right? After a month or two, whatever plan you've got, there are ways you can up or down your data limits. And of course, if you're not locked into a long-term plan, you can bust out and just jump ship and go to another telco or another provider, right? So don't just sit there paying whatever you're paying every month going begrudgingly, I'm paying so much for my mobile phone bill, because you could potentially be doing something about that. And my favourite place to look was whistleout.com.au.
That's right.
Okay, so anyway, checking your data usage is a good way to find out where you are, kind of draw a line in the sand and say, this is what I've been using this month so far, this is what I used last month, this is my pattern of usage over the last 6 months, and I'm about to go on holidays. So, you can look at all these things and get yourself a bit of a picture. So the idea is to avoid bill shock by knowing how much data you're using and when your cycle period restarts again. So, you have usually it's a 30-day, 28 to 30-day plan, but there are other options as well. There's 365-day plans, 180-day plans, 90. There's a plethora of options. So know when your billing cycle starts on the calendar date, and then you set up some monitoring on your devices, which is already turned on. It's just a matter of tweaking those settings so you can monitor your data usage over a period of time. So understanding your monthly data, you check your usage, determine your usage patterns, and then you can make a more calculated and clever, conscious, whatever word you want to use, decision moving forward about how you spend your money on communications. So in the iPhone, if you go into settings, under mobile, they've got an option called mobile data. So when you go into there, you will see...
Okay, this is interesting. I thought you were going to go into the app from the telco.
There is that's another way to do it, but
Okay.
if you've got a couple of different SIMs, or if you change your plan partway through,
Yeah.
or if you're using Wi-Fi for some of your stuff, those things don't necessarily show up in the app.
Okay.
So this, by turning on the mobile data or having a look at the mobile data settings, it's all the data broken down by Wi-Fi and cellular that passes through your phone.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if other people are tethering to you, that
Yeah.
will be counted, and so it gives you a really good indication of what kind of data you're using across both ways of connecting to the internet. Android, again, settings, and they don't have a mobile thing. They've got connections and sharing, it's called, and then underneath that is data usage. Feel free to check your phone, okay, because you've got a Xiaomi, which might be slightly different. There is also, if you have a Google Pixel phone, the Google Pixel phones have a slightly different menu option. They've got settings, network and internet. And then
Look, I just went into my settings and typed USAG, short for usage, and it came up with usage, access, usage and diagnostics.
okay.
So, and then data usage.
So you just went-
pretty much. Yeah,
you
I
just searched.
for the,
Yep.
yeah, within settings.
Yep, so data usage or usage is a good place to, a good phrase to search for.
Sorry about that.
Why don't you play it?
It went to sleep. I have to work on the settings on my computer. I was trying to wake it up again. I woke everybody up.
Yeah, it was an interesting,
You can't have it yet.
an interesting little soundbite. I'm curious what it is with your nonsense songs that we're talking about today. So in the Android space, when you go into data usage, so however you get there,
Yep.
you searched for usage, you toggle between mobile data and Wi-Fi. So iPhone gives you that broken down already, but you actually, in the Android space, in the top corner, there's an option to switch between show the data usage coming through mobile, tap it again to show the usage going through Wi-Fi, and it toggles those two things.
Yeah.
What you can then do is select your period, whether you want to look at today, current usage, or yesterday, or this month, or last month, and then it'll give you a graph showing what your usage is with the figures, and then you can set some data warning limits. So if you've got a 2 gigabyte plan, you can set your threshold to be 1.5 gig or something like that of your, so when you're at 75% capacity, and then you set your cycle start date to whatever it is, be it the 1st of the month or the 30th of the month or whatever it is.
Whatever your provider has set you to.
Yep. Usually based on when you sign up. So usually that anniversary, monthly or whatever that is. So then it will give you a running tally of how much data you've used and how much data you've got left, and warn you along the way, which is a really good way to avoid bill shock if you've got one of those plans that charge you when you go over.
Or even pairing that you were talking about before, shaping. You don't really want that unexpectedly, so it gives you some warning.
Shaping was when it slows you down. For those of you not familiar with the terminology, we did touch on it last week, I think. Yep. You get full speed access at a normal access to your internet, but when you reach your maxed out data usage, they slow you down or they charge you more. There's one of the two different options through there. So the last way to check, as you mentioned previously, is using your data, your apps from your service provider. So generally, most of your service provider will give you an app. So if you're with Telstra, there'll be a Telstra mobile app that you can install. Vodafone have one, Optus have one. Some of the lesser companies don't necessarily have one.
Really?
Because
it surprises me.
They hook into the other telcos.
So, okay. So maybe they send you to an Optus app or something. Or,
there'll always be a web page.
Yeah.
So you can use the internet portal to go to their stuff. They won't necessarily have spent the money to put in to create an app.
Apparently you can use that chat thing now to create apps. So, it won't be long now. ChatGPT, yeah.
That's crazy. It's taken the world by storm. But anyway, but just a couple of general points here. If you have a prepaid plan, when your data runs out, things just generally stop. Okay,
Very
just slow right down and they stop until you recharge. Right, so prepaid plans are a really good way to make sure you don't spend any more than you plan on spending, and it's all pretty good. The postpaid ones, so the ones where they bill you,
you get an invoice.
Yeah, those are the ones that can have that catch where they just charge you an extra chunk of money when you go over. Right,
Yep.
So check the fine print of your plans to make sure that if there are penalties, what they are and what happens when you reach your cap. Okay.
Or just don't reach your cap because you've got your notification set to give you some warning.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. Okay.
So now you want to hear the rest of that song? Yeah.
No, from the beginning, please.
I don't know what it is, but the idea of a big man singing bibbidi bobbidi boo just amuses me. So this is, I think it was actually Zippity Doo Dah, but we're going to go from Zippity Doo Dah into bibbidi bobbidi boo by the amazing Louis Armstrong.
All right.
That goes out. Zippity doo dah, zippity yay. My oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine heading my way. Zippity doo dah, zippity yay. Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder. It's the truth, it's actual. Everything is satisfactory. Zippity doo dah, zippity yay. Wonderful feeling, wonderful day. Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder. It's the truth, it's actual. Just listen to old Satchmo there. I zippity doo dah, zippity Wonderful feeling, wonderful day, yeah. Yeah, that's actual. Salakadoola, me check-a-boola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Put them together and what have you got? Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Salakadoola, me check-a-boola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. It'll do magic, believe it or not. A bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Yes, salakadoola means Manchekaboola-broo. But the thingamabob that just the job is bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Salakadoola, me check-a-boola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Put them together and what have you got? A bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Salakadoola means Manchekaboola-broo. But the thingamabob that does the job, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Salakadoola, me check-a-boola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Now you put them together, Kate, what have you got? Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Yeah. Bibbidi, bibbidi, bobbidi, boo.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I thought that was fantastic.
What did you say at the end there?
Something like that. Yeah, written in 1948 by Al Hoffman, Mac David and Jerry Livingston, introduced in the film Cinderella in 1950.
And so the lyrics were created as he was clearing his throat, accidentally, I suppose. Amazing stuff.
A great version. You're here with Making IT Easy, believe it or not, almost coming up to 12:30. And we are going into the news. So I was meant to have done this thingamajiggy that I haven't done.
Yeah,
and
well,
now I've done the thingy.
Should we just go into the news then?
No, you can trust me to get there in the end. He's smiling at me. He's not sure he trusts me to get there in the end.
No. Norton accounts breached. Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Recent weeks have seen a worrying development for Norton LifeLock customers all over the world. A recent data breach has potentially left thousands of accounts at risk of being accessed by criminal hackers. According to the company's data breach notice, these hackers have been able to have gained access to customer password managers. Gen Digital, the parent company of Norton LifeLock, were quick to point out that this was a credential stuffing attack. That's what they're going to hide behind from now on, this credential stuffing attack, rather than a compromise of their internal systems. So credential stuffing is where previously acquired data is used to attempt to break into accounts on different sites where users share the same password. So don't use the password for more than one site.
Right.
Because if they crack one, they've got your password, they can use it elsewhere if you've shared that password with other sites. All right?
Okay.
I know, moan, groan, but yeah, just be mindful, hey. Norton has automatically reset their passwords, not like the other places where, that's like, oh, you've got a problem going to change passwords. Norton's just did a system-wide sweep and reset everybody's passwords to some random thing and then sent them a message saying your account has been reset by Norton. Please go back in following the proper channels to reset your password to whatever you like, or you can just continue to use the system-generated one.
How do we feel about that?
I think it's much better than not doing anything.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair call. All right.
Apparently it affected about 900,000 users worldwide. Okay, Norton LifeLock is an add-on product. So if you subscribe to the Norton antivirus software, they give you the option generally, if you've got a kind of the premium version, where you can have this password protection or password managing program called Norton LifeLock, which has a vault and all that kind of stuff for you to put your secret information in. That's the one that's been attacked, not your antivirus software, because I mean, really, what can they do with your password for your antivirus software? Install it on someone else's computer, or steal one of your licenses. Anyway, as usual though, be vigilant and question any correspondence you're receiving from anyone, let alone Norton, regarding anything to do with accounts, password resets, and anything related to your personal data. Right? Don't click on links automatically. Make sure you go to the websites, the proper websites. Follow the necessary things to log in and do the things and the stuffs to make sure that you're actually responding to something that's verified. Okay. Google will be looking at a new way to search. Would you believe? The world has gone mad recently with the introduction of this chatbot called ChatGPT, and Google are kind of shaking in their britches a little bit now. For those of you unfamiliar with ChatGPT, Microsoft recently joined forces with a company called OpenAI to focus on this chatbot called ChatGPT, and they are predicting it to be the future in AI. ChatGPT will answer questions, perform calculations, write essays, write computer programs, create apps.
ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence program which can use all the information it finds on the internet, put it together to answer your question as if it was you writing it.
More than that, it can actually draw on the information there to create things. So it can write a computer program based on information that it finds. So it was a kind of an idea they trialed a couple of years ago, and it's only in the last couple of months that it's really come to fruition.
Well, they've started to realise the risks and the everything around it.
Yeah.
So as we know, the education system is going bananas, trying to figure out how they're going to deal with students who can use ChatGPT to create assessments. Is that going to be a good thing or a bad thing, and what happens? And I was reading this morning that ChatGPT also creates music and lyrics.
Yes.
But it generates that from actually going out to existing things that it finds and generating from there. So the question is, if it's going to go out to, let's say, Elvis numbers and use that to generate new music, where is the royalty that should go back to Elvis for where it actually sourced the information from?
Royalty and copyright is an interesting question. I think the WA schools have banned its use at this stage. Was it Adelaide or New South Wales? They're looking at ways to try and incorporate it into the education, make it part of the learning rather than just banning it. And the creator of ChatGPT, the original guy, he's looking at ways to look at the output and determine whether the output was created by ChatGPT or whether it was human created. So that's an interesting way of playing around with these things.
It's interesting. Apparently ChatGPT, I'm going to take us off topic again, is not allowed to give you information for making like share trading and financial advice. It's not allowed to do that. But you can get around that by actually trying to create this character and then asking the character hypothetically, what would you do if you were trying to write this program to do that? So again, that's a problem. But the people who've been testing this say that you really need to know the information that ChatGPT is producing for you to make sure it's correct, because it doesn't always have correct information.
That's
and
right.
As you know, if you're gathering information from the internet, not all of it is correct.
Well, one of the main sources for the original ChatGPT a few years ago was places like Reddit and Twitter, things like that. So
grief.
can you imagine the quality of the data that was coming in through there? But obviously it's been massaged and refined as it goes forward. And there are a lot of different options with AI tech now. And it's just going to become bigger and bigger.
And look, we're a technology show. We embrace technology, and I would implore you that if you have any input into schools or educational systems that are going to be using this, encourage them to embrace it. The future of the world for our kids is going to be using things like this, and to prevent them from using it and to prevent teaching them how to use it properly is, in my opinion, just being lazy as an educational facility.
Wow, big call. Incidentally, there's about 100 million active users of the ChatGPT little chatbot.
Yes.
And that is, as of today, basically, I did that stat, and that's 2 months after it was officially launched.
When I actually went in there recently, it was actually closed down. They said, can you go away and meditate, because we're trying to figure out how to accommodate all these people trying to get onto it. So,
it's pretty funny, isn't it, how an AI can't handle the volume of users. Well, anyway, the whole reason behind this news article, in response, Google is testing an alternative search homepage using its own chatbot called Apprentice Bard. Apprentice Bard will have a question and answer type scenario. So that'll be an interesting year to see how that turns into a usable search engine within
Bard, what a fabulous name for it.
Apprentice Bard. He's been around for a while. I say he, I've genderised it, but it's been around for a while.
Oh,
so
you'll be in trouble on social media for genderising something like that suggests providing information. Yes. Do we have more news, Tony?
We do. 2 more. TikTok has been banned in US schools and universities as the world continues.
Oh, what was I just saying?
As the world continues to grapple with ever-changing digital landscape, many schools and universities in the United States are taking a stand against one of the most recent additions to popular culture. TikTok, the short-form video sharing app, has been gaining traction among young people since its launch in 2016, and its popularity has only grown since then. At first glance, TikTok may appear to be a harmless way to pass the time and to create funny videos. However, many schools and universities have begun to recognise the potential harmful effects that the app designed to reward users for creating outrageous and often inappropriate content can have on their students. In response, dozens of schools across the United States have taken the step of banning TikTok. You probably shouldn't have TikToks either, but they've been banning TikTok from their campuses. The most common reason cited by schools and universities for banning it is that the app poses a threat to the students' safety. Now think about that. TikTok is notorious for its lax privacy settings, right? You don't have to have an account to post and do things, all that kind of stuff, and allows anyone to view and share content without the user's consent or knowledge. But, really, that's kind of what happens anyway. This can lead to the sharing of inappropriate content, such as explicit videos and images, which can then be seen by anyone of all ages. And additionally, the app's trending videos often feature dangerous stunts and activities that it can encourage students to put themselves in harm's way. The most recent report involved a young Puerto Rican man who fell to his death while sightseeing and filming a TikTok video off the cliffs of Cabo Rojo. So this kind of stuff happens, but, the Darwin Awards were created for such events. In addition to these potential safety risks, many schools are concerned that the app's overstimulating content can be distractive from learning. But then how is that any different really than any other app? A lot of schools just ban mobile phones and the usages from
that's right.
From that.
I'm making a face.
I've been watching your face as I'm reading, and I'm going, will I continue? Will I? I'm going to read the story because this is the general opinion and information that's out there. So anyway, they're suggesting that by taking the step of banning TikTok, the institutions are sending a clear message to their students that their safety and well-being are their top priority.
And I would argue that the message they are sending is that they are educational laziness because they don't want to teach people how to actually deal with these situations. This is like having a war against drugs, but not educating anybody that drugs are actually bad for you. I mean, how successful would that have been?
Have they not done that already?
It's already unsuccessful.
Press the button, dear.
Oh, the button.
I need to get you off to a high horse when it comes to this kind of stuff. Samsung drops a whopper.
Ooh.
This year, in Samsung's new phone lineup, they've dropped 3 new phones, one of which has a whopping 6.8-inch screen. The S23 Ultra, as they're calling it, dwarfs the competition in the non-folding range, and it promises to be an excellent premium phone in 2023. Samsung is just a little bit bigger than their close rivals, the iPhone 14 in the Plus and Max range, the Google Pixel Pro 7 and the Motorola Edge Plus, and there's also the OnePlus 10 Pro if you feel like buying something that was not made over here. Well, not available generally in Australia. Of course, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold, which our colleague Tim wants to get, has a 7.6-inch screen when open, which is just a slight bit smaller than an iPad mini, to give you some context about how big these things are. But anyway, that's all in the tech news. That's all that matters.
Remotes East Vic Park, we have WA's largest range of replacement garage and gate remote controls. Genuine or aftermarket, online or in-store. We're fully licensed to cut and program spare car keys, flip and smart proximity keys for a huge range of makes and models. We also do repairs. Find us at reedsremotes.com.au or give us a call on 6110 2693. reedsremotes.com.au. Station sponsor.
MRB 8165.
In Martin, Rolly Stone and Caracup, we're the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
And you're with Tony and Kay on making IT easy, and Kay being somewhat opinionated on this lovely day.
This is why I don't share the news articles with you before the show. Because then that'll blow the wind out of your sails.
You're okay. You like to get the expression when we're actually here. And okay.
Comes from being married to you for so long.
In the socials, we have free parenting sessions at the Seville Grove Library. Hey, go along and talk to some teachers. No, seriously, discover new ways to build knowledge, skills and motivation in your children that helps them achieve their goals, build strong relationships with family and friends, and make good decisions in differing areas of their development, I presume. So this is in the socials with the Seville Grove Library. So get onto them if you're interested in that. Just ducking back to my other socials, which was gentle reminder, free yoga Wednesday mornings at the Kelmscott Hall from 7 a.m. Did you know that? I'm not going, it's at 7 a.m. Followed by a coffee catch-up at the Plant Cafe. So bring a yoga mat, water, a smile and an open heart. There's a Facebook page which looks like it's called gooddeedmovement.com.au. So that's on my socials in the Armidale Kelmscott groups. So feel free to see if you can find those and check them out if you're interested. There was also a fun little meme which I enjoyed this week, which I set aside for you all, which says, "We thought it was our ability to love that made us human, but it turns out it's actually our ability to select each image containing a boat."
Think about that. It could be select each image that has a traffic light.
Yes, that's right. Or a fence. Yes, that's right. So they're the socials for today, babe.
Right. I'm just, I got sidetracked. I'm looking through a 50-plus brilliant hotel hacks. It's really quite funny.
Socials. It's the deep dive into the never-ending. We're going to go to another song. I hope you all appreciate that this had to go into the playlist. This is from the Muppets, and also appreciate that I didn't do it last, so I'm not leaving you with it.
Mana-mana. 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 Mana-mana.
The fabulous Muppets with Mana-Mana, which we've been casually saying to each other around the house for the last week, just to give us that earworm. You with Kay and Tony on Making IT Easy, 1:45. Hope you're enjoying your afternoon with us.
Deep dive into, what is today's topic? Watching movies online.
Sweet.
Such a huge topic.
Okay.
With
we've done
a
this
lot to
before.
cover.
Yeah.
So we've, chop it out and see how we go. As you would expect, there are many options for watching movies on your television. Yes, but there's so much more than just the normal free-to-air stuff that you watch on 2, 7, 9, 10, SBS 31, whatever else is there. There might be a couple of new ones. I mean, we never watch free-to-air TV, realistically.
No, that's right.
But there's still some really good
I don't know what the channel is for the Aboriginal TV station. That's got some amazing stuff on it that I pass through sometimes, and they're talking about Dream Time and
there's a world channel as well now, and a whole bunch of stuff.
There you go.
But anyway, if you don't know what they are, like us, may I suggest you install an app called Freeview. Freeview, all
Sounds
one
good.
word.
Sounds good, yes.
You can go to a website directly and just go to freeview.com.au, I think it is. Let me double check that so I'm not telling you porkies. But if you go to the App Store, then you can download either on your Android device or your Apple device. You can install an app. All right, and that Freeview app gives you access to a lot more than the web version does. Okay?
While you're checking that, I'm just going to sneak in here a bit of a community announcement, which is very relevant. If you want more information on tech, don't just trust us. The City of Gosnells and the other councils, so I'm sure our other local ones as well, do it. But the City of Gosnells I've got up here provides information sessions. It's a 45-minute one-on-one session for help with technology-related inquiries. So if you've got your pen handy, because we gave you phone numbers before, February 6th, 13th and 20th, between 1:30 and 3:45 p.m, you have to book in advance. So it's 9391 6000. But you can go in there and, maybe you've heard something on the show here that Tony's talking about, but you actually need a little bit more help one-on-one to get it done. These are the people to go to and get that help. So you can, go and say to them, Freeview, I've heard about it on this great radio show, but how do I actually set it up? So if we're running a bit fast for you, or you just, want a bit of a hand or want somebody to talk to while you're doing it, then that would be a good place to go.
Volunteers there put in a lot of time and effort.
They do, 9391 6000.
Okay.
So as you were saying, Tony?
Or you can just remember 9398 3100 and we can tell you all that kind of stuff when you call.
That's it.
All right, so we're talking about an app or a website called Freeview, and it's freeview.com.au is the website, so it's an Australian website, or you can install the app. And what you do when you get this thing open, and look, I encourage you to play with it, please. If you watch television at all, you really can't not have this app because it's a really fantastic app. What it does is it gives you a tiled view of all of the television stations, ABC, starting at the top, I think. Yep. And so it gives you a little tile view, and each one of these little tiles shows you what's currently on. Okay. So at the moment, the Larkins Series 1, Episode 1 is on ABC TV. SBS has figure skating. 7 has horse racing. Megazoo on Channel 9, etc.
Okay.
And there's a little play button. So if I press play, this will actually take me to the live stream of the show that's currently playing on my device. Right? So I don't need a TV. I can use my iPad or my phone, whatever's connected to the internet, my PC, whatever laptop, tap on that and I can watch that show. There's also options for love hearts, so you can make it a favourite, so next time it comes back it lets you know through notifications that it's on, and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Right? And right in the middle of the screen I've got an option between live and catch up. Right, so at the moment I'm looking at what's currently on, and there's a little status bar at the bottom of the show, so I can see that
you can see how far through the show is.
Megazoo is just under halfway through,
yep.
So you might not want to start watching that because you might have missed the important stuff. Yeah. But if it's only just started, why not? Or you can later on, or even potentially now, go into catch up and watch it later, or catch the live stream from the beginning. By going.
So catch up takes you back how far if you want to watch old episodes?
There's usually a limit. So it depends on the licensing that the station has for that particular program.
But you're not suggesting it's only a few hours or a day?
No. It'll be a month or 6 months or something like that.
So if I decide there's a TV called Insight that I really like, but I've missed everything beforehand, I can actually start going back and watching previous episodes.
Exactly. Yep.
For free?
For free. All for free. That's why it's called Freeview. And it's based on the free-to-air television stuff. Right? Now, if you've got a smart TV, right,
Yes.
so a smart TV, anything in the last 4 or 5 years, that's probably going to have access to the Freeview app to install on your television, right? So you won't necessarily have to use a computer or a tablet or your phone or whatever to do it. But if you don't, then you can. So if your TV is not smart, you can use one of these external devices to access that kind of stuff. And then if your TV is clever enough to be able to project to it or connect via casting, which is a whole other thing, or you can plug in a HDMI cable if you're using a laptop and you have HDMI connections on your TV.
Yes.
That kind of stuff you
I've
can
just
do.
discovered the joys of HDMI cables. It's amazing.
Yeah, they've been around for a while now.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Freeview app is a really good way to watch what's currently on and anything that you've missed, and to let you know what's coming up.
So presumably this would include movies as well. So if I want to go and see, what movie was on Channel 7 last night, I can go back and watch it.
Yes. You generally, with catch up though, you look at the day and see what was on that day.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a couple of different implementations. That the TVs have a slightly different implementation than the apps do. You get more feature-rich stuff out of the app.
Okay.
And there's also in the corner, there's a search option on the bottom, on the right-hand side. There's a search. So if you want to search for The Bachelor or whatever, you can find out what channels it's on, etc.
Yep.
And then the left-hand side has the hamburger, which is those kind of 3 lines, or sometimes you see 3 dots. That means more options or
more information,
additional settings, etc. There's things like live TV catch-up, coming soon, favourites, reminders, and then there's a thing called the TV guide. So if you're the sort of person that fumbles around looking for your Sunday Times TV Extra catalogue to find out what's going on, or you try and use the online catalogues, there's a few of those. They're pretty awful to use. The Freeview one is lovely. It's got all the stations down the left-hand side. It's got a big line down the middle which shows you what the current time is. And then you can literally just look at what's going on. And if you tap on one of them, it'll take you to that show. Right there and then. It'll flip you across. So here is the, whatever it is, Pat Callan's 4x4 Adventures. Takes me to the Channel 10 portal part of it, and I can start watching that show directly from there.
That's ridiculous. Okay.
Now, there's a couple of little have-to-knows, caveats, I suppose.
Please, yeah.
Because each of the stations are their own entity, right? So SBS Channel 2, 7, 9, 10, etc. They all have their own app, right? So there's a Channel 7 app, 7 Plus app, I think it's called. There's the Channel 9 Now app. There's the SBS On Demand app, the ABC iView app, right? All of these apps, when you go to catch up and you tap on the thing to catch up, it'll spawn that app and play it from there.
Okay, makes sense. Yep.
Which means you have to have that app installed and you have to have accounts, because now you just can't install the app and play anything at random. They want to know your username, username, password, email address, that kind of stuff. So just go through and do that and set them up. And then once you've set it up properly, it's just fantastic. You can literally have your computer or your tablet in front of you, and that's your TV remote control, in effect. Instead of fumbling through your TV remote control, you just use this Freeview app and tap on whatever you feel like and have it shoot on the screen.
It works really well for somebody like me who likes to have something going on in the background while I'm working. So I can just have my, smart device to one side, have it playing whatever TV show and work on something else.
Yeah, and the beauty
separately
of it, because in the tiled view, you actually get a visual about what's going on. A lot of catalogues and calendar, schedules, they don't give you much
TV
detail.
guides.
They don't give you enough insight as to what it necessarily is, whereas this gives you a visual straight away and you go, oh, that's the one I want to watch.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Sounds good. Let's quickly go to a song. A reminder that if you want to give us a call, the numbers were, where's my sheet of paper, 9398 3100, or if you want to text, it's 0485 838 436. And while you've got your pen out, if you want to find the show notes, it's MagooIT.com.au. In the meantime, we're going to go to Ramalama Ding Dong by the Boppers, which was actually Happy Days, I believe.
Ramalama Ding Ding Dong, Ramalama Lama 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 Ding Dong, Ramalama Lama 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 Ding.
107.3 HFM, the voice of your community. You're with Tony and Kay on Making IT Easy. Thanks for joining us, everyone. How was that for a mouthful?
It was good. It was great.
All right, we're in our deep dive. We've just kind of dived in a little bit, and I got so excited about Freeview, and I haven't used it for a while now, so I've been making sure that all of the apps work. So yeah, you need to make sure that you have the individual apps for the for the TV stations installed.
Yes.
So that when you click on a movie that's a catch-up for Channel 9, for example, you have to have the 9 Now app installed.
Yeah.
And you have to create an account and all that kind of stuff. But once you've done it once, you should be fine.
And you don't have to do them all up front like you were suggesting, really. I mean, there's only going to be certain stations that you go back to frequently, probably. So, you can wait until you need to and then go through that whole process.
While you're having breakfast, a bit of toast and a cup of coffee, you can just start fiddling your way through them.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, it's not a big ask, and you'll learn something along the way.
Could be doing it now while you're listening to the radio station.
Yeah. I'm kind of brought it back up again. Go to the App Store and then install these apps, please. Freeview. So, best TV streaming services in 2023 is what I'm going to look at. There are so many. So what I've gone out to the internet and searched a whole bunch of different options and read some reviews and some recommendations, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to talk about, and then another 6 others. So, Netflix. Obviously, Netflix, Australia's most popular streaming service, has been around for some time now. Mm-hmm. And look, without a shadow of a doubt, it's probably the best value for money of any of the services that are out there. Especially now that they've released the advertised tier. I think it's a much cheaper option to get into. I do have all the prices down here somewhere. The basic plan for Netflix is $10.99 a month. And that gives you unlimited access on one device to watch anything you want that's in the Netflix thing. Okay.
That's not much more than hiring a video was.
Yeah.
Really? You would have hired a new release video
Do you remember?
$8?
We used to... Well, I can't remember the name. Was it Top something or other?
Blockbuster?
No. Down in Mount Lawley, where Guzman is now, on the corner of Walcott and...
Planet Video.
Planet Video. Yeah. They used to do 3 new releases plus 5 weeklies for $10.
Yeah, that's right.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now for $10 a month, you can watch anything as much as you want, right? But that's not the cheap plan. I think it's about $6.99 now. They have an advertising layer. So the whole idea of this kind of stuff is you want to stay away from ads, so you can just watch whatever you want. And $10.99 a month for Netflix gives you that. But if you want to be a bit more money conscious, you can spend a little less than that, and they put ads in every now and again.
Okay.
All right. So, but if you're used to free-to-air TV, then that's probably not
get what you pay
not
for.
Such a big deal. But Netflix have their own, what they call Netflix originals, so they actually spend a lot of money themselves and create their own or produce their own. They go out to the movie world.
Actually, I heard just recently that the government had now made it a requirement that Netflix and any of the other big streaming services have to have a percentage content of original Australian productions.
Right, okay. Wow.
Apparently they do that in Europe already, and now they're doing it in Australia. I can't remember what the statistic was. It may have been 10%.
This is streaming services that are available in Australia in order to qualify.
So, for example, Netflix is now, if it wants to continue and have acceptance by the government, it has to meet a criteria of original Australian productions. Maybe that's why the Gozzywood is going to become so successul. Local filming.
It's interesting because there are services out there that are particularly Australian as well. Anyway, so Netflix it's a no-brainer. If you've not done the jump into streaming movies and televisions and stuff like that, you could do a month by month, pay $11, have a go.
Yeah.
Or pay $7.
There was an option previously for getting a family plan and sharing that with members of the family. They were clamping down a bit on that, weren't they?
They have clamped down on it in I think is it Costa Rica or something like that. They're trialling this new crackdown. So for those of you not familiar with the concept, a single plan is $10.99, or you can get a family plan, which is a bit more. I don't think I have the price on, no, but let's just say it's $20, and that might give you 3 streams at the same time. So potentially then you could be streaming 3 different movies in 3 different rooms of your house to cater for your, your kids or whatever they want to watch, etc. But people took advantage of that and gave their passwords to people outside of their house or their friends or family or whatever. So then you're paying one subscription and actually having 3 streams happening in different parts of the
grand plan. Yes. Good
So
idea.
obviously they're losing money hand over fist with that kind of stuff, especially with all the money that's being lost over the COVID time, and they blame COVID for everything. But anyway, the idea now is that they're going to lock your account to your IP address. So your
So
IP
one
address,
household can have multiple. So you can have, your daughter watching something in one room, son in a different room, and you in a different room, but it has to be in the same household.
Yes.
The actual physical same house.
Yes. So that'll do it. It'll pre-qualify your connection when you try and log in and say, oh, you're not where you're supposed to be. Are you really this person? And then I think there's an option to send a code. So if you're in, say, because you might be away, you might be down south or overseas or whatever.
So you can still access it from afar. Okay.
Yeah, you still need to prove that you're affiliated or connected to this account, really and legally, kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's not a completely cut off thing, and it hasn't been introduced in Australia yet, but they're expecting this year for it to trickle through after they've proved the concept overseas. So
are you saying that at the moment it's completely acceptable to have a family plan with people from different addresses all sharing the same plan?
It's not acceptable, but they can't stop it, and it's not illegal.
Right. Okay. So you've got some time. All right. So other streaming services other than Netflix?
One more thing.
Yes.
Often they'll give you a 30-day trial. You do have to sign up, though. You've got to give them your credit card details, and after that 30 days, they will automatically start to bill you unless you cancel within that 30-day period, and that's the same for all of these services. And if you're worried about using your credit card, go and get one of those prepaid credit cards. Or
although I don't think Netflix is a particularly dangerous place
but some people just have that phobia about using digital payment methods. Right?
Fair enough.
So, and look, I don't begrudge you that. Get yourself a card that's disposable that you prepay, and then, if anybody hacks it, you just lose what's on there rather than your credit limits.
Good advice.
So Netflix, no-brainer. Try it out. Great stuff. Fantastic. There are other players like Stan. All right, so Stan is Channel 9 in Fairfax. So they focus more on local Australian content. So movies that are made here, documentaries and that kind of stuff that is here.
I didn't know that.
So
okay.
They also have an affiliation with overseas content as well, but through the Fairfax stuff. But that is the focus of the Australian content through Stan. Disney Plus. Okay, Disney, as you can imagine, huge. All that kind of stuff. The Disney only library. Right, so literally Marvel, Pixar, The Simpsons, Star Wars. All that.
So we're not just talking Disney movies for young girls.
No. I used to remember watching Disney on Sunday. Was it 6 o'clock on Sunday?
Yeah.
I was always hoping for a cartoon, but it ended up being Lassie 9 times out of 10. But anyway, Disney Plus have some really, really good content.
Quality
so the
content.
stuff that goes out to the movies,
Yeah.
Once it's finished at the movies, you'll find it on Disney Plus. Binge is a relatively new one. They've got about 10,000 plus hours of HBO content. Right?
Oh, okay.
So it's premium content. Well, they haven't got 10,000 hours of HBO content, but they've got 10,000 plus hours of stuff, some of which is HBO premium content. So it's a good way to get the US stuff over here through a subscription to Binge, and not an expensive option. Amazon Prime, look, really good catalogue, surprisingly enough, the Amazon Prime stuff, provided you don't really want to search for something. Like Amazon Prime, they have slide advertising in it. Just, they if you watch something, it might show you a trailer of something else. They don't advertise products or anything like that.
Yep, okay.
Which is potentially what Netflix might be doing. They might be actually advertising sponsorship arrangements through their ads. But the Amazon stuff, they're just pushing other shows for you to watch. But the thing with Amazon is if you search for something that's not on the screen, generally you have to pay for it.
Yes,
and it's a rental process, so you get to watch it over a period of 48 hours once you start, but you've got 2 weeks to watch it once you click on buy, that kind of stuff. But if you just scroll through the menus of all the stuff that's trending at the moment and stuff that's number one,
or series that you've watched before and you're continuing,
that's all free. That's all part of your fee. It's just some of the stuff that might be premium content that's available on other services like Disney Plus, for example. They'll charge you $6.99.
Which you may or may not want to do depending on
Yeah, yeah.
how
and-
interested you are. I mean, that is an option. You can, if you want to watch
absolutely.
something that's quite new.
Yeah, absolutely. But you don't. It's not like Apple TV where you buy it and it's yours forever. This is a subscription rental, if you like. Once you've watched it, it lapses, and if you want to watch it again, you have to pay again.
Yeah, we've got a couple more to get through. Should we have a quick
let's
break,
go for that.
pay some of the bills, and Dum Dum Diddle by ABBA.
The local voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
Your Examiner newspaper is available weekly and is filled with news, information and advertisers from your local area. Packed every week with the reports you need about local sports, real estate, motoring, entertainment and local tradesmen. You'll be kept up to date with the goings-on from the three local governments, Armidale, Gosnells and Serpentine Jarrahdale. The Examiner has a proud reputation on its commitment to reporting news that is relevant to you. Station sponsor, the Examiner newspaper, available free every weekend.
In Canning Vale, Oakford and Darling Downs. We're the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
On this fabulous day, we currently have a temperature of 35 degrees, heading for a 37. But I've read this 3 times. According to BOM, there is a 5% chance of rain and a chance of thunderstorms in the northern suburbs this afternoon. Okay. It doesn't feel like that from where I am.
Yeah, it was a bit overcast this morning, which I thought was interesting.
Okay, maybe that's it then. So here you go, chance of winds. 1:10. And we're deep diving into best streaming services. I know that you've spoken about Netflix as being probably the premier one, or the most likely if you're new to it, but also Stan, Disney Plus, Binge, Amazon Prime, which personally I use. But you've got a few more here as well.
Yes. Apple TV Plus is another one. They have a smaller library content, but stuff that you can't find anywhere else.
Really? I'm not even sure I've heard of them.
Yeah, well, Apple TV was a thing a while back, a little dongle box that you would connect to your TV and give you, so if you had an iPad, you could stream your iPad, mirror your iPad, watch the photos on your TV.
Okay.
That was their push. And then Apple TV also had these apps, and they've got the Apple Store, which has movies and content through there as well. And when you buy them, you own them. Well, nobody ever really owns them, but I mean, you buy it once, you can watch it as many times as you want.
Okay.
You don't actually, you pay a subscription and then you buy the movies. Foxtel Now. So Foxtel, if you're a
Foxtel used to be the big name, didn't it?
It did. Well, it still is, for sports especially. They tend to get new TV shows and movies first, and they have the rights to most of the sports stuff. So, Foxtel is still a big player. But of course, having the satellite dish on your roof and all that kind of stuff is not necessary anymore because you've got internet connectivity with the Foxtel Now. And you can bundle Foxtel with Telstra on your NBN plan to get a much better deal because Foxtel is quite expensive when you compare
But that's
it to
important
the
to
other
note
services.
that we talked about Netflix as being the most likely entry point, but not if you're a sports fan. Yeah, Netflix is far more for TV series and movies, not for sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, no question there. Foxtel Now is the place to go to locally anyway, unless you want to go to the international options. And the other one worth mentioning is Paramount Plus. That's relatively new. It's only been around for a short while compared to the others. But, CBS, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, MTV, and of course Paramount Pictures. So
of course.
all of that kind of stuff is then through there, which you won't necessarily be able to watch anywhere else. And that's what happens, What was that Yoda thing we were watching? What was it called again? Anyway. Baby Yoda, Mandalorian. Mandalorian. It's only available on one of the streaming services.
Yes.
I think it might actually be Paramount, but it might be Disney.
No, it wasn't. It was Disney Plus.
It was Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So the boutique-y kind of shows, that's what gets people to subscribe because they follow it, and so there you go.
And that's how they make their money. So
and when you look at it, they're not expensive individually, starting at around the $6 or $7 or $8 to $10. But when you're getting 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of them, it adds up to quite a monthly spend. But there's no reason why you have to sign up for all of them, hey? And you could rotate it around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to subscribe to one for this month.
And how much TV can you possibly watch?
Some people, a lot. Not me. There are specialty streaming services as well.
Ooh, tell us about those.
So KO Sports. Right, it's an offshoot of Fox. So Fox have realised that a lot of people don't necessarily want to pay the huge amounts of money that they do for the Foxtel stuff. So KO is sports only. Okay, they have over 50 sports worldwide.
Wow.
So all of the league stuff, it's available through there, and that's a $30 a month plan.
So, sorry, did you have the price for Foxtel? Because if you're saying Foxtel's huge and $30 a month is cheap, I'm a little bit worried about how much Foxtel actually is.
Foxtel have a basic package, which starts at $25 for the movies, and then you add things to it. So you want to add the premium movies, you want to add the sports to it, you want to add this to it. So you could end up spending $85, $90, $100 a month on Foxtel.
Okay.
Whereas if you're just a sports fan and you don't need all the movie stuff,
so then you can do like the sports and then the Netflix or something like that, depending on
you could get KO for $30 and you could get Netflix for $10.
Yeah.
And then you get arguably a better coverage of movies.
Okay.
And you don't miss out
numbers.
on the sports. Yeah. Just
all right. So KO for sports. It sounds like. Yeah, it sounds good. And 50 sports is significant. You're talking not just footy and cricket.
Yeah, it's ridiculous when you go into you can browse. You don't have to sign up. You can go to the KO website. So it's KAYO.
Yep.
And just have a look, and it shows you all of the sports, and you can preview stuff and have a look.
You don't happen to know if it covers the Olympics by any chance?
I think Olympics might have affiliations with certain TV stations,
networks.
Yeah. So like it was one of the name stations, 9 or 7 or whatever, covered it last year. So I don't think so.
Other specialty?
BritBox. Brit, BRIT box. So the best of British TV. So remember when we were over in the UK, we had to pay for TV over there.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. So is literally available on this.
That would include some great TV.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad. Some old special stuff too. Optus also have a sports offering as well. They have the largest football catalogue in Australia. So although Foxtel cover all of the other NRL, NFA, all that kind of stuff, Optus focus more on the local football stuff in Australia. But, they have other stuff as well. So Optus is a possibility for you. If you're into scary movies, horror thrillers and sci-fi kind of stuff, Shudder, SHUDDER, make you shudder.
That's a great name, yep.
Is a good one.
Okay.
If you like reality stuff, Hey You, it's HAYU. That's a reality streaming thing, so Desperate Housewives and all of the
Big Brother,
Sylvania Waters and all that kind of rubbish is on there.
Yep.
Sorry, all that quality
TV,
quality product is there. And there's also one called Flash, which is the latest news from right around the globe as it happens. So it's 24/7 news.
That's interesting. I wonder how that compares with BBC or Al Jazeera or anything like that.
And I suspect
ABC.
a lot of these will have, and I didn't go into each one individually, but I suspect a lot of them will have a trial period for you to go in and have a muck around with.
Oh, yeah.
And see how you feel.
There's a couple on there that I think I might have a bit of a wander around. Actually sounds quite interesting. Let's go to a song before you can continue, because I know there's more to talk about.
I took a breath.
Yeah, the Beatles 1 this glorious day. 35 degrees and heading for a 37. I was just having a quick look on the City of Armidale website, as I do while they're bopping around to the song, and there's a whole section on lost cats and dogs. So if you come across a lost cat or dog, or you lose yours, either of those two options, the councils have some great facilities that you can notify them, and they can put a picture up on the website so that people can find them. Of course, there's also local Facebook groups. So if you go into your local, for example, there's a Seville Grove local community group, or City of Armidale or Gosnells, go into your local, and then you can actually post a picture of the said pet that you may have found or the said pet that you've lost. And people are really good at saying, yes, that's, Cousin Joe's dog, or that's something else. It's amazing how many people are on that and will keep an eye out for you. So a couple of options, use your electronic means to try and rehome that little fella. I also noticed that on the lost cats and dogs that there is a rehoming feature as well. So if you're looking for trying to rescue something, then maybe get in touch with your local council and see if there's something available that you can take home and look after and love.
Good on you. The community service announcement there. That's wonderful.
Well,
we are talking about streaming services for movies and TV shows and sporting events and things like that, both live and via catch-up.
So I'm guessing,
things.
the question is going to be, what do we need to do this? Do we need special equipment? You mentioned Apple TV needed a box. Is that still the case? Or?
Yes.
What else do you need?
Yes. If you decide you wanted to look at the Apple stuff, then Apple have their own way of doing things. So you need to be part of the Apple sphere and get yourself an Apple TV. But if you're an Apple user, you'll know about that kind of stuff. And adding an Apple TV, if you don't have one, is not such a big deal. And that's kind of what you're used to in that space. If you have a smart TV of some kind, now that's a TV that does more than just change channels. There's usually a menu option or a little home key. Some of the smart TVs these days actually have purpose buttons on them that are labelled Netflix or Disney Plus or something like that, or they're programmable in some way. So have a look at your television to see whether it's a smart TV. If you feel adventurous, you can get to the back of it and take a photo with your camera of the model number, and then you can go to Google and search for the model number, and it will tell you all the bits and bobs if you happen to have lost your instruction guide. Not that there's much in them these days. But anyway, if you have a smart TV, then you will have access to apps. And there will be an app for Netflix, an app for Stan, an app for Disney Plus, an app for Amazon Prime. So you install those particular apps, and then you can log in, username, password after you've created your account or your free trial, and then you can go in and watch those services. If you don't have a smart TV, it doesn't mean you have to go out and buy one, right? And we have both. We have a smart TV and not smart TVs in the house. So what we've done is bought what they call streaming boxes or little dongles. So in particular, Google have one at the moment, Google TV, which is a really cheap, easy option to get into, and it gives you all of the access to the Google Play Store. So any of the Android apps that you have on your phone, you can install on your television, on your Google Play device, and then watch them on your television, which is a pretty cool thing to do.
Very.
But also it gives you access to all of these streaming services via the apps, right? So the Google TV, it's called. I think it's around $50. It's not a huge amount of money. It's come down in price in recent times. But there are other players as well. There are many different options for these streaming boxes. There's not really a better or worse one, in my opinion. The Google TV is as good as any. We actually have a Me TV stick, which I bought a while ago when I was playing around, because we had the Xiaomi, and Xiaomi, same company. And we've got an Amazon Fire Stick as well, because we have Amazon Prime, and we've got Google Home and we've got an Alexa, and so I wanted to see what the Alexa. Sorry for all the people who I've just triggered their smart home device. To see what the integration is between the Amazon products. Because obviously the Google products play nice together, but what's the Amazon ones like? So being a techie, I want to know what the difference is and what the benefits are. So we've got the Amazon Fire Stick, which talks to the Amazon Prime stuff, and literally on the remote control there's a little button, and I can just ask Alexa to play a particular show, and it will stream automatically, open the correct thing and start playing it, which is fantastic. A lot of the smart devices, so the TV is very basic. Even if you've got a top of the wazza smart TV, it's going to be fairly basic in its menu system. You install the app, you go into the app to search for whatever it is and play whatever it is, right? So you want Netflix, you go into Netflix, you play Netflix. A lot of these other little devices like the Fire Stick and the Google TV have a search option at the top level, so it will search all of the apps. So you just type in the name of the show, and it might be clever enough to go in and open the right app and take you in without you having to try and find it. And that's the big issue at the moment. It's like, I want to watch this particular show, but I can't remember which one of the services it's on. So you're constantly going back in and out, which is a bit annoying. So these purpose-built devices now are having some kind of a menu searching system at the top level, which is a nice thing. So you need to have some kind of smart device, be it your television, very basic, and you can live with that. As long as your TV has the ability to install apps, you can install the app for the particular streaming service on there. If you don't, look at getting something like a Google TV for a small amount of money, which you can then plug into your existing television via HDMI. And then you have a secondary remote, which takes over the control. The Google TV remote will actually change channels for your normal television, volume and all of that kind of stuff. So you can kind of put your TV remote to one side and just use the Google interface one. And a lot of that stuff's been going for a long time now, but the Google's done quite a nice job in that space. Not to take anything away from the Fire Stick, because I quite like that too. If you don't have a smart TV or one of these dongles and you don't want to do either of those, you could look at using your phone, your tablet, your PC or your laptop.
You make that sound like the third best option, but it's actually not a bad option.
Well, some people don't have TVs. There are people out there that don't have TVs. If you're one of those people, call us and let us know why. But you could live your life with a laptop and or your phone.
But as long as you've got a TV that's got a HDMI connection, which you need for that second option, you can plug a laptop in. And then you can do everything on your laptop and just feed it through the TV screen.
You can absolutely do that. And I know that you do that because you travel a lot, and that's a very convenient way of being able to do that. But I like the idea of having my computer in the other room, where that's where I go and work, not in front of the television.
I can see how there would be a difference of opinion there.
So horses for courses, but there are lots of different ways that you can access this online content. So basically anything that connects to the internet, there is some way to do it. Okay.
Shall we do a song?
Yeah, go on.
Yes, Do a Ditty. I'm sure everyone knows it, but this is the Neil Diamond version. So you may not have known that he did this particular one.
Well, there she was, just walking down the street singing. Popping her fingers and shuffling her feet singing. She looked good. She looked fine. Looked good. Looked fine.
next to me singing. She took my hand just as natural as can be singing. We walked on to my door, walked on to my door, and then we kissed a little more. I knew we were falling in love. I told her all the things I was dreaming of. Now we're together nearly every single day, singing do I get it, did it, dum, did it, do. And we're so happy, and that's how we're gonna stay, singing do I get it, did it, dum, did it, do. I'm hers, she's mine. Well, I'm hers, she's mine. Wedding bells are gonna chime. Together nearly every single day, singing do I did it, dum, did it, do. And we're so happy, and that's how we're gonna stay, singing do I did it, dum, did it, do. 'Cause I'm hers, she's mine. Well, I'm hers, she's mine. Wedding bells are gonna chime. Oh yeah.
Sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant trop mon whisky. Quant à moi, peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash. En 4 couleurs. Allez hop, un matin, une louloute est venue chez moi, poupée de cellophane, cheveux chinois, un sparadrap, une gueule de bois. A bu ma bière dans un grand verre en caoutchouc. Comme un indien dans son igloo. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, la nana, quel panard, quelle vibration de s'envoyer sur paillasson. Limé, ruiné, vidé, comblé. You are the king of the divan, qu'elle me dit en passant. I am the king of the divan. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi.
pay new prices when you can give something previously loved a new life, save money, and help save the planet. At Second Chance Op Shop in Kelmscott, we have an amazing selection of books, clothing, and homewares, all great quality and at low, low prices. So why not refresh your library, wardrobe, and give your home some finishing touches by visiting our shop on 255 Railway Avenue, Kelmscott. Second Chance Op Shop. Find us on Facebook and come and have a browse. Station sponsor.
107.3 HFM, the voice of your community, is proudly supported by
Southeastern Motor Trimmers,
WA Classic Sounds,
Canning Agricultural, Horticultural and Recreational Society. Become a corporate member and support the voice of your community. Go to the webpage heritagefm.org for email details or to find out more.
In Forest Lakes, Cannington and Keysbrook, we're the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
And you're here with Tony and Kay on Making IT Easy with that song by Plastic Bertrand called
Ça plat pour moi, which means that plane for me, according to Google Translate.
Yeah, which apparently is actually a French expression which basically is translated to everything's going well for me, or literally it is gliding for me. Cool expression. We should try
Wham
and use
bam
it.
mon cha splatch. I'm just looking at the lyrics now. They're crazy. And there's, wow.
Well, there you go. A nonsense song.
Is it nonsense?
you.
Like it might actually be.
Well, yeah. Good point. Yeah. I think the wham bam splat bit probably was. Yeah.
Plastic Bertrand. A lot of his stuff's a bit out there.
It was actually meant to be a parody song of the whole punk song movement, but it was a huge hit, obviously. We are still deep diving and talking about how to watch a streaming service.
Almost at the end there for what I want to cover today. So, remember I talked about apps, yes? So
yes.
Go to your app store if you're wanting to do something on your Windows PC. The Microsoft Store have stuff. Apple has the Apple App Store. Google Play has the Google Play Store. Or you can go to the website, right? So if you want to try and play around with stuff, you can go to the website, and usually you can stream through a web browser on a PC or device without having to install an app. But obviously the app experience is better. There are also free services that are streaming other than the free-to-air stuff through Freeview. Okay.
Oh.
So just mentioning a couple quickly. There's Replay TV. Okay. If you just search these on Google, you'll be able to find apps and all the website access to them. So Replay TV through the Freeview stuff. Yep. Various apps for the local stuff we talked about. So there's ABC iView, SBS On Demand, 7 Plus, 9 Now, 10 Play, etc. YouTube has quite a significant portion of movies and things to watch. Okay, and the YouTube stuff does have entire things in there.
It sure does, yeah.
The quality of some of it might be a bit questionable. Not necessarily the artistic quality. I'm talking about the actual quality of the recordings and
production,
that kind of stuff.
But you can actually rent movies through YouTube as well. Yeah, not that I've ever done it, but you can.
Yeah, Google Music has quite an interesting way of doing things as well. So YouTube and YouTube Music, I said Google Music is now YouTube Music because they're the same company. Canopy, if you're a member of a public library. If you're not a member of a public library, why not?
That's right, yes.
You should be a member of your public library because there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can get with your e-resources.
Yes.
There's a lot of online content that you can get for books, etc. And movies is one of the things, and it's called Canopy with a K, K-N-O-P. And they focus a lot on documentaries and stuff like that. But there is a lot of stuff in the content.
If you're not using the stuff through your free library, then get down to that City of Gosnells or any of the other libraries that have got the volunteers, because they will,
absolutely
set you up with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's an app and a website called Tubi, T-U-B-I. It's Foxtel owned. And it has kind of more the B-grade movie stuff. So if you like watching late night TV with that kind of stuff, this is what's on Tubi. I think I watched something about Sharknado just recently, which was a rather interesting tornado with shark. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there are many others, perhaps more risque. Google search free streaming and have a look at what the options are. But if you're going to do any of that kind of stuff and you don't know what a VPN is, do some research and use a VPN service if you're going to use some of these other streaming services that I haven't mentioned.
Okay.
If you're keen to find out more, my favourite website for all things reviewing to do with telecommunications and streaming, etc., is whistleout.com.au.
Oh, that's okay.
When
you
you
were
go
talking
to
about that for selecting mobiles, but for this as well.
When you go there are 4 big buttons when you go onto the webpage. The first one is about mobile phone plans, internet plans, tablet plans, and pay TV is the last one.
Oh, there you go.
And if you go to pay TV, it will give you a rundown of all the stuff that's available in Australia that's relevant for us. Okay.
Fantastic.
I think
that is the end of our deep dive. We're going to, I guess, quickly go to a song. This is the song that started all of this. This is one of my favourite songs that everybody else hates. So big shout out to our friend Mark from the East Coast if he's listening. Shoop Shoop Diddy Wop by Monty Video.
I'll tell you a story about that.
Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. 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 Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang.
Well, the shoop shoop stands for the mood you're in, and the diddy wop mean let the fun begin. It's a feeling gonna set your senses reeling, and you can't sit still. Come on, mean what you thought, that's right. And the wang dang gonna get you through the night time, baby. That's the right time if you wanna lose control.
Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang.
Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang.
Shoop shoop.
Little party, nothing formal. She's in the corner, look quite normal. Empty glass, bold as brass, pinch me hang about.
Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang.
She says shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Well, the shoop shoop stood for a mood, alright, and the diddy wop gave me a nasty fright. Sort of feeling, well, it set me senses reeling, and you can't sit still. Come on, man, what I thought, touche, and the wang dang, anyway, nearly died, mortified, nearly lost control.
Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang.
Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come away, dang.
Shoop shoop.
Well, let's discuss it. Nasty weather. With a feather, what? All together? What sort of a girl do you think I am? Well, alright. Now you'll think I'm awful. Got like
Montevideo. Shoop shoop diddy wop, come a wang dang. Look, it released in 1983, and our good friend Mark was very much part of our lives then, and music was something that we all did together. And I remember, and I think this was the song, Mark, if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had an album with this song on it. And you despised it so much that you grabbed a screwdriver and gouged the record from the one song to the next so that it would come up to the beginning of the song, play the first bar or two, and then go and then start playing the next song. Yeah, quite an interesting... Wait, it wasn't that bad, was it?
Well, it was a way to deal with it, yes. I remember playing a vinyl record called All Men Are Liars so many times to my current person that he broke it in half and threw it out the window. It wasn't you, obviously. Yeah, I don't know why, but I had a backup copy. Nick Lowe, I think, All Men Are Liars. Who has 2 copies of that? Yeah.
45, it was a single. Yeah, back in the days when we were DJing.
Yeah, that's it.
Look, have we got time for App of the Day?
Can we squeeze it in?
Oh, look, let's talk about Netflix.
Okay.
Just a little bit more about Netflix. Yeah, it's the king of movie streaming services. Been that way for many years, and you can run it on most smart TVs these days, or a streaming box via your dongles. Right, you install the app, and away you go. Mm-hmm. And if you've got a reasonably modern TV, you'll probably have a button that's labelled Netflix. That's how popular it is out there.
Yeah, very true. Yep.
So play around with that kind of stuff. You can also go to netflix.com on your device, right? Be it your laptop,
That's
PC,
an
whatever.
interesting idea.
And you can stream directly from your device. So if you've got a laptop, as you like to have your laptop, and then you could plug in your HDMI cable from there and plug it into your non-smart TV or whatever you fancy doing. The basic plan is $10.99 a month for one user, and it goes up from there. There's a standard plan which is $16.99. I think there's 3, maybe, if I'm wrong, could be 2 or 3, and then there's another plan, the premium plan, which has $23 a month, which I think gives you 5, and it gives you 4K video, right? But realistically, you have to be a bit of a snob to need that kind of quality and service. But $11 gives you pretty much everything you need, and they've just released this advertised ad-sponsored option for $6.99. So you can really get into it kind of cheaply to do that. And when you go into Netflix, you log in with your username and password. It's a bit like Freeview. You've got all those lovely tiles of things, and everything is categorised like the new and upcoming stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
And the featured things, and there's like
what you're
trending.
currently watching. Yeah, what's currently top 10 in Australia at the moment.
That's right, top 10 in Australia, and you can play around with all those kinds of things and scroll. They've also got this thing called hidden codes. So if you do a Google search on Netflix hidden codes and you're interested in horror, there'll be a number. It might be 23754 or whatever.
Right.
And you type that number in and it gives you a listing just of that genre or category. I mean,
that's an interesting idea.
You can still kind of do that through the menus, looking for genres and stuff. But this,
so I presume it will work on like action movies or comedies, rom-coms or something.
Yeah, there are a whole heap of those. So look for
docos.
A bit of homework if you fancy that. If you're an existing,
you didn't give anyone homework today on tips and tricks.
Yeah, it kind of fell by the wayside, didn't it? The whole idea. But those codes are a really good way to explore content that you wouldn't necessarily, because it's really difficult. Remember what it was like if you ever went to a video store? You'd be walking up and down the aisles looking at the spines or and trying to pick up one.
It's hard to know.
Do I want to know? Do I? And they put it in areas and you're not sure if that's the genre you feel like it. But
with the algorithms, Netflix tends to push up the things that they want you to watch over and over again.
Plus they also see the things that you're currently watching and suggest things based on what you like.
That's right.
So
it can be difficult if you've got 3 people in the household. They're like, oh, what are they watching today? But I've gone to the search section and just searched randomly on the first word and then actually look through those because it just gives you stuff that Netflix isn't throwing up in your face, and came across some interesting things.
Yep. The other thing of having multiple users, you have different profiles. So you log in as you're going to see your trending stuff and the stuff that you're interested in. Log in as your daughter, and she'll see
what she's watching. Yeah, okay, I see where that's going.
But anyway, look, the Netflix app.
Actually, we were at a hotel just recently, and Netflix was there, so you actually go in and you can see what the last people have been watching.
Oh,
and it's a bit voyeuristic. Let's make some character assessments based on what they've been watching on TV.
The cool thing about the Netflix account is it'll work wherever you are in the world. So you go to a hotel, you log in with your username and password, you'll have access to all your...
That'll be it. They didn't log out.
There will also be some region locking stuff, so we can't watch the stuff that's trending in the US
necessarily if it's not being released now.
I talked about VPNs and stuff, but that's a whole nother thing. So the Netflix app was our app of the day, and it just makes sense. If you're going to play around with streaming, play around with the one that's been around the longest, it's the most stable and has a really good following and a great catalogue, and then play around with some of the others.
Okay, I'm going to try and sneak one last song in before we go. We were talking about TikTok before, and I was expressing my disappointment at educational laziness, which I'm going to try and coin that term. I want to play this song. This is Iko Iko Ie, which is written, I don't know when it was written, it was a long time ago. It's been redone by Justin Wellington, and he did a version which is called My Bestie, which he put on TikTok with a series of dance moves.
We talked about this at the Kelmscott show.
Yes.
James and I.
Yes, that's right. Now, I'm just having a quick look now, but it looks like this particular video or the offshoot videos have been viewed 471.6 million times on TikTok alone. I know that he's on, Facebook and other things as well, but that's just TikTok. Now,
what's that number again?
471.6 million views.
Do we know how many of those people are still alive?
Now, this is people who are enjoying watching other people doing dancing. It's about, best friends dancing together and about people producing dances to put on here.
Yep.
I do not think this is, terrorising anyone, but this is the song that goes with it. So this is Justin Wellington with Aiko Aiko.
Hey, yo, big wave. Tell them I come. Small time alongside JW.
My bestie and your bestie sit down by the fire. Your bestie says she want parties, so can we make these flames go higher? Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Aiko ane, chucking more fina anane, chucking more fina ane. Start my truck, let's all jump in. Here we go together. Nice cool breeze and big palm trees. I tell you, life don't get no better. Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Aiko ane, chucking more fina anane, chucking more fina ane.
Okay, your mama ngwele, step on the dancing floor. Hips be winding, DJ rewinding, take it to the island way. Okay, your baby mama, put on your dancing shoes. One drop it, pop it low now, take it to the max now. Jam in this small jam way, jam in this small jam way.
My bestie and your bestie dancing by the fire. Your bestie says she want parties, so can we make these flames go higher? Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Aiko ane, chucking more fina anane, chucking more fina ane.
Let me take it from here. Solomon girl straight up, right hoochie mama. Make me party non-stop in a island banda. Swing those hips and back it up to me ragga. A chance for party ladies do the doggy doggy. I'm drumming island reggae, rapping blue, green and yellow. Me tapping on me beat, make a slow wine for me baby. Speakers pumping, people jumping. We drumming the island way.
Shout out to the good time crew all across the islands. Grab your shoes, let me 2x2, and now we're shining bright like diamonds. Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Aiko ane, chucking more fina anane, chucking more fina ane.
Yes, one drop it, pop it low now. Take it to the max now, jump in the small jam way. Wind it.
Wind up, go down, wind up, go down. Twist your body backward.
We go
left, left, we go right, right. Turn it around and forward.
Wind up, go down again.
Wind up, go down, wind up, go down. Twist your body backward.
Twist it back.
We go left, left, we go right, right. Turn it around and forward. My bestie and your bestie dancing by the fire. Your bestie says she want parties, so can we make these flames go higher? Talking about hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Aiko ane, chucking more fina anane, chucking more fina ane, chucking more fina ane, chucking more fina ane, chucking more fina ane.
107.3 HFM, the voice of your community. Thank you for joining us today.
So just quickly, I hadn't done the research before, and I should have. Originally released under the name Giacomo. It was 1953. Sugar Boy Crawford and the Cane Cutters failed to make the charts and actually became successful in 1965 with the Dixie Cups. Was the original Aiko Aiko, a song that tells of a parade collision between two tribes of Mardi Gras Indians and their traditional confrontation. Wouldn't know that from the current version, but hugely successful now with Justin Wellington.
Okay. What's coming up, babe?
We have, of course, Rock Aria coming up from 3, so don't change the dial between now and 3 o'clock. Frankenator and Friends. We have Fourth Dimension on from 6 until 9 this afternoon. We have Magnificent 7 coming up on Tuesday with Andrew Pheasant, who's going to be interviewing a fabulous guest. And next week for us, we are talking about Bluetooth speakers. Good plan. I need to do my 4 steps to how to listen to HFM on your from smart device. We're talking about online music, and Spotify will be the app of the day, assuming we get to it.
Yes.
I don't yet know what the music theme will be, but I'm sure it's going to be fabulous.
you do enjoy. It's like this at our house, at our home. Kay spends ages working out what the next theme is going to be,
and then we have to run it through a few times to make sure we've got it all right and it's all working. Don't forget the number for the next time, 93983100. You can catch me on that if you want to volunteer to come and help out at the station. Show notes are at MagooIT.com.au. And I thought there was something else I was meant to say, but I can't remember what it was. Yes.
Thank you for all your calls today, by the way.
We're going to finish up with a couple of songs that I didn't get to do during the show. We're going to do The Police with Do-Do-Do-Do-Da-Da-Da.
Good song.
Yes. And then I'm going to follow that up. A big shout out to my daughter Jess, Lady Marmalade by Christina Aguilera, Little Kim, Maya and Pink. So they're the two songs we're going out to now. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yay.
And tune in again.
Kate.
Thank you, Tony, for all your work and research and genius.
Couldn't do it without your button pressing and your wonderful songs.
That's what we're going to call it. See you next week between 12 and 2 every Saturday.
Goodbye.
Don't think me
Where's all my soul sisters? Let me hear your flow, sisters.
Hey, sister, go, sister, soul, sister, flow, sister. He met Mama locked down in old Moulin Rouge, strutting her stuff on the street. She said, hello, hey Joe, you wanna give it a go? Gitchy, yeah, yeah, da, da. Gitchy, yeah, yeah, yeah. Mocha chocolate, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Cream lady, mama, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Yeah. He's down in a pool, I see fresh enough. Boy drank all that magnolia wine. All her black satin sheets, waist on free. Yeah. Gitchy, yeah, yeah, da, 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 da. Gitchy, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mocha chocolate, yeah, yeah. Cream lady mama. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
We come through with the money in the garden bags. Let them know we bout that cake straight out the gate. We independent women, some mistake us for whores. I'm saying, why spend mine when I can spend yours? Disagree? Well, that's you, and I'm sorry. I'ma keep playing these cats out like a car. High heel shoes, getting love from the Jews, 4 badass chicks from the Moulin Rouge.
Hey, sisters, soul sisters, better get that dough, sisters.
We drink wine with diamonds in the glass by the case, the meaning of expensive taste.
You wanna gitchy, yeah, yeah.
Come on,
Mocha chocolate.
what? Rio lady mama. One more time, come on.
Misdemeanor.